trying out some oh, that's gonna be a bit weird because I can hear myself doubly. Okay, tell you what, I'll just do that, but then I won't be able to hear you guys. Anyway, never mind. Yeah, the idea here is to explore the idea of collaborative design, and we're going to be using Figma today. So yeah, without further ado, yeah, let's just jump into it. Introductions or intros will be vastly improved in the future. There'll be better context. There'll be, you know, an actual opening sort of intro which illustrates the idea behind the program, and yeah, and ways for people to actually feedback, you know, come on, you know, whether it's you know, coming into the green room in here and actually communicating you know, what they think of a particular thing, or through text, you know, that kind of thing. But anyway, yeah, so let's just jump into it. Tevo, you were saying something previously, yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Shall we try maybe doing this in Figma, because then we can just sort of like or I should tell you what, okay, yeah, that's good. Tevo, in the chat, could you drop me your email so that I can add you into the document that James and I have been working on, and then we can basically show that screen and we can all interact on that particular thing. Yeah. Wait. Okay. Right. So I'll just go ahead and share it with you. Can view, can edit, send invite. Okay. Boom. I've sent the invite. And then what would be nice to do is if I could share. Yeah, if I could share my screen, I suppose. Aha, there we go. Yeah, workshop maybe is there. James, have you not wondered why there's a burger and a banana? Okay, it's pretty much the same thing. Yes, the POS, the point of sale idea. I created a new page for it. Okay, so now do we want to actually, James, do you want to explain, do you want to kind of do what you and I did before to sort of explain it to Turbo, and then from there we can sort of do this bit in terms of the flowchart and sort of like the agents and sort of yeah. Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah. So do you want to share your screen so that the audience actually is able to then follow, and then I shall just change the what's the word? I'll change the orientation or the formatting of our screens, and then that should highlight your yeah. Okay, there we go. I shall bring this, and then I want to make that the largest one. How the hell do I do that? There we go. Awesome. Ta-da! Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Sure, sure. Yeah, actually, I won't sort of share my screen. I'll just use yours as is, because for some unknown reasons, I think Restream is having issues allowing me to share specific browser windows. But anyway, so so this segment is a very early version of an idea of how we can present the different screens of different experiences. So in this particular case, it's just a surface illustration of the idea behind having like a parent-teacher experience that's designed. Obviously, we've got the student, the parent, and the teacher. All of them would have a DID, so decentralized ID, and this would sort of allow for a whole bunch of interesting functionality, right? I think moving forward it will make sense for us to, I suppose, have like a segment which is sort of like a glossary, right? Possibly in this overview document where someone could go over and have a look at what the hell a DID is, in sort of different technical terms, as opposed to having to go elsewhere. So yeah, I won't go into great detail in terms of what a DID is in this particular conversation, but suffice it to say, a DID basically creates a unique digital identity which allows for a myriad of things to happen, right? You can sort of have a wallet linked to it, you can have all sort of credentialing linked to it, you can have channels of communication like instant messaging between one person and the other. So yeah, I suppose the functionality is really quite wide ranging. And so you can imagine if you're creating a sort of PTA type experience where you're trying to optimize for things like engagement, and say on top of that voting for say different representatives of the different committees within the school. One of the things that you want in such a design is one for the ability to have some sort of environment, sort of similar to say like how Facebook's Facebook's wall works, where you have different permissions for different content, right? So you'd have each person, so the student would have their stream of information, and on that, depending on the publishing access access levels, right? Whether it's published so that everyone, say in the school, can see it, or every student, every parent, whatever, right, is able to see it. It then sort of creates an environment where observability is no longer really a thing. And then so once you've solved that layer, you're then able to, I suppose, solve the underlying layers of things like motivation or incentives, right? And obviously, given that each of these agents or actors in this case, it might make sense to at some point to make the distinction between those two, but yeah, each of these actors has the ability to receive a token of sorts, right? Whether this token is like a school token, or a token that relates to the parent child relationship, or a separate token which relates to the student-teacher relationship in the context of the school, or a tutor or whatever. Basically, this is sort of like the motivational incentive layer, right? So in a way, what you're doing is you're solving different levels of a problem in a sort of systematic way. And what's great about this is, whilst this is just solving for a particular problem in a specific domain, the functionality can actually be used quite broadly, right? You can imagine sort of templating this and sort of copy and pasting it to a different environment, and swapping out some things, and enabling that to solve a different purpose, right? So there's this sort of emergent possibility or capability inherent in it. So as you can probably see one of these is called front, or is labeled one of these frames is called front end, and this one's called back end. So the idea behind this is to basically surface the back end and the front end functionality, right? So the front end is the user interface and what people see, and the back end is the logic, what happens after someone has tapped on a button, right? And so being able to actually have these presented side by side enables someone to actually have a much richer experience and understanding of how to possibly implement all these things, as opposed to, say, having the back end exist elsewhere, right? So there will be a cognitive load in terms of like, oh, I can be able to see how the front end looks and works and so on, but I can't be able, I have to change context to be able to understand what the code is doing. So that's why they're sort of right next to each other. Additionally, what hasn't been illustrated here, that will be illustrated, is the awesome prototyping functionality that Figma allows, right? So Figma allows for you to link different screens. Say, for example, if I was to take this front end and create what would be the next stage from here. Say, if it was like a button which was like, okay, log in kind of thing, what would the next screen look like after the person was logged in? You're able to link these two screens, and you're able to then experience them like you would, say, in an app or a web browser, with that interactivity, right? So on here it will be, these frames will be separate, but in that context it will basically sort of act, in a sort of stacked way, right? So you tap on something, and then depending on the animation that you've, because you can embed animations in there as well. If you just want the screen to slide away or just completely just disappear instantly, slide up, all sorts of stuff from a prototyping standpoint you can be able to do. So that basically allows for us to have a richer conversation in real time with an audience, and the audience can actually go to the Figma link and tap around the interface and get a sense of what's what, and possibly able to give feedback, because it might be that with user experience / user interface, or more experience actually, there's some instances where it's that age-old sort of problem of, do you create shallow directories which have many sort of sub folders, or do you create deep ones, that kind of thing? So like from an interface standpoint, do you have to click on a whole bunch of options from screen after screen after screen, or could a whole bunch of things be optimized and create sort of a more shallow experience compared to a deeper sort of like breadcrumb sort of experience? So it might be that someone watching would be like, oh hey, by the way, like by the time I get to the thing that I want to, I've already lost interest, or I'm confused, or I don't know how to get back. So stuff like that would actually be really rich in terms of having folks who say aren't technically savvy but just watching and are able to tap through an interface to actually be able to give really rich and important feedback from that standpoint. So yeah, that's basically my speech complete regarding that. And as for this bit here, the flowcharts which have been highlighted here, the idea is to simply this is what I suppose Teva is going to be expanding on in terms of like the different agents and what they'd sort of be looking for, and create a flowchart so that we can be able to in a way illustrate what the journey of the different agents or actors would be. And then down here is an idea of going back to what James spoke about the different the cadence, right? Going from one week um, talking about more explorative stuff, and then then following talking about more technical and sort of iterative stuff, right? That kind of on and off, iterative back and forth. One of the things that occurred to us was it would be important to actually talk about these three things, right? So computation, community, and commerce, right? Because in a way, so far the front end and back end already sort of in a way cover computation and community, right? So community is sort of like the front end, the user experience, and then computation is the back end, the code. But there's like a middle end there, which I suppose is sort of like more incentive aligned and understanding. I suppose just the really the varying nature of the varying nature of commerce, right? We might even sort of touch on, I don't know, things like taxes and fees and all sorts kind of thing, because with every commercial endeavor, which these would be, there needs to be a consideration for that, right? For us to actually achieve or to create illustrations where we're saying, okay, hey, local use case, if if you want your local pizzeria to accept crypto, like here's an experience, here's information about how they can actually do that. Or if you want to have your niece or nephew go and create a lemonade stand and accept ADA or something, accept crypto, here's a thing to use, right? Just being in a way aware of I suppose, yeah, the commercial obligations. And what's interesting, the final thing, what's interesting about that is that we would really be able to leverage our international audience, because culturally, like geographically, the requirements vary quite broadly. So yeah, that's it. Really? Wait, is it? Okay, give me. Okay. Oh, okay. Wait, okay. Wait, Tevo. So you can be able to view it. Okay, cool. I'll just check it on my end. Ah, okay. Whoever's viewing, if you're on cast.live, you need to actually tap on the press button, the play button. Um, that is obviously not optimal. That will be changed moving to the future. Really, if you're having a live stream, it ought to just be it ought to just play live. But yeah. So if yeah, cool. Wait, let's have a look. Chat. Okay, cool, awesome, cool. Problem solved. Okay, I need to take note of that. Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So actually, as a point of reference, I feel like from a user experience standpoint, Kraken, of all um, exchanges, have a good implementation of like following what Tevo just said. So I think on Kraken, if you land on there, you're presented like four different sort of boxes or tabs, not really tabs, squares, and each of them sort of pertain to a different level of understanding of crypto. So actually, I'll just quickly go into so I can actually read it. I think Kraken.com. Yeah, I was quite surprised because like from a user experience standpoint, they have vastly improved since when I checked them out, which was ages ago. Yeah, so here we go. Yeah, so four rectangles, and the first one reads, "I am new to crypto. I need someone to explain how it all works." Right, and then the next one here, second one, "I'm trying to take my digital investment to the next level." And then third one, "I'm looking for something my current exchange doesn't offer." And then the last one, the fourth one, "I'm a company with unique needs from my exchange." Right, so all these different different contexts and different needs and different levels of knowledge or understanding are sort of broken down into what is basically a flowchart of like understanding and yeah. So what have we got going on here? Okay, let me mm, yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's free flow, dude. Like whatever. So I feel like cool. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Ah, okay. Yeah. There we go. Usually that's how that works. Yeah, yeah. Let's start there. Yeah, I would hesitate to use the word entrepreneur because what is an entrepreneur? Like, is that someone who can code? Is that someone who has sold a startup before? Is that what I mean? Like, is that someone who can design? Mm. Yeah. 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 Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I agree. I agree. So I've gone ahead and just, yeah, as you're talking, I just created these sort of simple text boxes, within which I think we can then, as you said, like just um, break it down to a sort of to a deeper level, right? So I feel like, okay, so there's designer. I would say within that I would also say there's programmer, right? And again, the programmers who design and designers who program. So, but then like even with that, I would suppose all would sort of say that they're strong at one thing than a different thing. So, perhaps like doing something like that, saying agent programmer, yeah, and then just like I suppose adding stuff underneath, so like programmer, um, languages, let's see, web, I would say web, uh, languages, languages, JavaScript, if I could type JavaScript, um, yeah, I wonder if I can do this. For game companies. Um, let's see. Uh, yeah, for game companies. Let's see. Okay, I would say game art. Yeah, no, yeah, go on. Exactly, yeah. It's like someone does one thing and you're like, oh, okay, let me add to that. Let me add, you know? Yeah. And also, yeah. Tell you what, levels, I would say, CSS, um, Tinkerer, CSS Tinkerer, um, yeah, I would say, because the idea is to start from a first principles standpoint. So like, because part of my, I suppose, criticism of Catalyst, at least so far in Fund 2, is that I feel the challenge was not that well articulated. And so if we just kind of copy and paste that, I feel like there's a whole bunch of potential. Like we're starting with assumptions which kind of already limit our thinking. So I feel like perhaps starting off like, okay, what does Catalyst actually present, right? Opportunity to be funded um, in a decentralized way, and what's the strength of the kind of ideas at this point of the innovation cycle? What kind of ideas do we want to um, reach out to? Actually, oh, that makes sense. Yeah, God. Mm. Mm-hmm. Okay, there we go. And no, gone. Have a look at that. Yeah, by all means, great artist, man. Okay, something's Danny's awesome. Tick tick. Yeah. So just to give some context, right? So in terms of just adding stuff under the different agents, what I've done is right after, you can probably read, but anyway, yeah, right after, agent and then whatever it is, I'm entering levels so we understand, like, in terms of skill level, what the spectrum is, right? So for example, in designer, I've written like basically just image editing, which is, aka photoshopping, to like CSS tinkerer, right? So that's like low level stuff, someone who's like, has some skill set and experience in digital design, to someone, say, who has designed like a life support system interfaces, whether this is in a hospital or like for space, for like the Dragon space capsule or something, because like, that's like a different level, where your designs really have to work. You can't just, have like minimal experience of understanding design kind of thing. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I'm just trying to like add the different levels across the different agents. Go ahead. No, no, just as a class. Yeah, just as you said, like before, like starting out as a class as opposed to like quite specific, because then, like, as good as the specific stuff is, it might start to create sort of fragmentation, or sort of what's the word, disorientation. Mm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because then once we understand, okay, as someone coming in with, from a design standpoint, okay, if your level is just like, on a lower level of like, you've messed around in Photoshop, you have some decent skills at CSS, okay, here's a kind of thing, here's a possible starting point kind of thing, compared to someone, coming into this and it's like, okay, I've designed life support systems, like, where do I go from here, kind of thing, and then, given that, Cardano is built on, Haskell, and that's functional programming, which is the kind of stuff which, life critical or mission critical software is written in. There's a potential to be like, oh, okay, so for someone with, a higher level of skills, there's actually a place for them to plug in and start to interact. Yeah, let's see. On merchant, why not actually have lemonade stand at the lowest, right? So like, yeah, yeah, what? Yeah, just simple like lemonade stand. I feel like, yeah. Um, what would be the highest level of merchant? I was thinking like government. exactly. Yeah. Yes. Seriously, that, because the amount of like variables. Yeah, this I suppose brings up like a good point of conversation, which is how are we defining the highest level of merchant? Because like the reason why I was really excited from James's suggestion was because from that standpoint, like the complexity of someone in such a role is actually quite high, um, compared to say someone who has compared to say I don't know, the CEO of MasterCard, or excuse me, or Visa or something, where yeah, it might have a whole bunch of transactions, but actually level of complexity and risk is, say, relatively low, kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, let's see. Yeah. Yeah, this is good. Yeah. Beginner website builder, backend, yeah, expense full software. Yeah. Add levels. I would say, okay, full software, full stack. Shall we have that? Full stack. You're not gonna write what? Or for the merchant. um, let's see. Full stack software engineer. Um, let's see. Let's see. Agent programmer. Let's see. Web languages, JavaScript, website builder, yeah, beginner, yeah, advanced. Oh no. Mm. Okay. Just in terms of good practice, like I like the potential of this to just kind of be an ending, but I think it would make sense to say, shall we bring it to a close on the hour? Yeah. Cool. Cool. Yeah, next step. Yeah, review and next steps. Yeah, I agree. Um, mm, mm, yeah. Do, 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 do. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we could, infinitely, I suppose, carry on iterating on it, but for the moment, I'm actually quite satisfied with the few but the focused ones that we have, because I feel like these represent like a good demographics, right? So you've got designer, programmer, merchant, and a student. Yeah. Incentives, yeah. Okay. Cool. Let's see. Okay, so you don't want to. Yeah. I mean, kind of going back to what. Yeah, I agree. Going back to what James said, I think it's flawed to think in a sort of myopic Cardano way. Like, from my perspective, Catalyst presents an ability for anyone on the planet who wants to solve a problem to be able to be funded, like so to get like incentive, like to get money to actually solve that problem, right? Like in a way that going to a bank with a business plan and that whole centralized thing and having things like your credit be an issue, and having the bank who doesn't really understand, most likely don't understand, like um, tech related problems or solutions. Here you're having someone who's native, like yeah, mobile fluent, for example, like with a student, right? um, Someone who's native to the digital world to be able to actually like have the tools to problem solve, right? So like from the money to the team, um, yeah, to the audience, to the possible clients or customers, to yeah, yeah, mm, mm, yeah. I mean, the worldwide bit is really like, you know, mm, mm, That it is indeed. Yeah, to make history together. Yeah, yeah. Focus. What are you saying, Teva? Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. So, yes. I think. Allow me to possibly suggest something which could, I suppose, maybe perhaps have a bit more clarity. I think so. We have all the agents listed, like key good ones. I feel like what the next stage is now, as opposed to the specificity of the carrots, and all the sort of like different variable sort of barriers and obstacles and how they were solved for. I feel like actually just interfacing. So how, like, what opportunity um, does does Catalyst present for designer? Like, how do they interface with the potential that is Catalyst slash Cardano? How does a programmer interface? How does a merchant interface? And a student, etc. Right? Because I feel like some of them are obvious, right? So the programmer going over to like Marlow playground and such places, like, that's pretty straightforward, like the documentation, etc. um and sort of like, Yeah, yeah, but yeah, I feel like we're saying the same thing, but at different stages, right? So in a way, what I'm saying is like, what's the summary of the options of interfacing, and then you're giving what I think would come after that, which is a detailed example of some, of a particular story of someone, who tried to do it. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. We're discovering new stuff. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I was just chuckling at James's attempt to want to what's the word to align skills, or the word skills. You're like above, below, on the line. Well, like shift or something. I have no idea. Like, yeah, try it out. To be honest, it is okay. Yeah, I think you can be able to like yeah, I rarely use grids. Yeah, yeah, you could probably toggle it on and off. Wait, I mean, it was not appearing for me, so yeah, like I don't mind it being on or off. Like I really don't give. Um, yeah, is it on? Ah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. So if you're to zoom in, yeah, yeah. Okay, let me try and outline the two stages as I saw it. So top level in detail or overview in detail. Okay, I'm gonna outline. You know what? Do the detailed, and then I'll do the sort of the overline, the overview. Yeah, cool, 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 cool. Um, just bring this over here and say move these up a bit higher up. Um, okay, what I want to do here is a little bit bigger and say um, pen. What's not working? Exactly. Indeed. Yeah. Oh no. So are you getting the sound from Restream only and not YouTube? Okay, cool. Yeah, because if you're listening to the actual stream, you'd be hearing some music quite low in the background, so it's not as awkward. Yeah. Nice. Cool. Indeed. Yeah. 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 I would say example. Detailed. Detailed. Example. So I'll get rid of that. Detailed example. It's fine. Like what I'm doing over here, is I'm I agree. It doesn't make sense because I'm doing it above the stuff, but I'm just doing it because obviously, the base level agent description or definition is still evolving, right? And yeah, I don't want to put something beneath it, then have whoever is adding to it have to keep shifting everything upward. Yeah. Yeah, the idea is once we've got to a decent level and not much is being added to it, then these would fundamentally go underneath the description because that's the order. um, so uh, connection. I mean, this will be quite interesting once we get to a point and Roberto enters a picture and we're talking about like a dandelion and stuff. And sure, I'm up for it. Yeah, I'm up for it. I think coming back to what we are talking about earlier, like I think quite central to all of this is DIDs. Like and I'm painfully aware that the documentation for DIDs has not actually been, or at least the repository has not been made public. But that's going to play quite a major role in terms of just implementing a lot of this, but that shouldn't actually keep us from doing a test tomorrow. Yeah, the back end. Mm. Nice. Of course. Yeah. 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 100%. Yeah. I mean, after this stream, obviously we'll break down the details and stuff, just so that we can be able to have. I mean, because this is just a whole bunch of jazz, and that will be to a certain extent, but I suppose yeah, we'll talk about like what the specifics which the jazz will be around. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So does this bit here make sense in terms of like what Tevo and I were talking about? So what's inside the box? What's inside the box? Is the optionality. So in this context, oh crap, no, it's the wrong side. This is meant to be above the programmer, not the merchant. There we go. Now that makes a lot more sense. Yeah, so above programmer, which will eventually be beneath it, is this idea of the connection, right? How does the programmer connect to Cardano/Catalyst? The options here are things like Milo Playground, Plutus, and more to add. Actually, tell you what, I'll add Dandelion in here if I can be able to spell it. Dandelion. And then above that would be an illustration, so a detailed example, basically what Tevo was saying. So yeah, I was a programmer, I came on and I tried to do blah blah blah. I came across this obstacle. This is how I solved it. Or I needed a team. I went to, I don't know, the build a team Discord channel on Catalyst, found a team, or whatever. Like being able to actually have and I suppose not just one. At some point it would make sense to add different ones, because with different journeys, actually detailed journey, yeah, with different journeys, they're different obstacles. In the same way, if you're trying to teach someone something, iterate or giving different examples, or describing different parts of the elephant so that they're able to understand it, they're able to get a clearer picture. Does that make sense? Cool. Yeah. I think we lost you, James. Tevo, can you hear him? Yeah, okay, now we can hear you now. Okay. Wait, James, if you could just repeat that after I say what it is I have to say, because I was not actually listening because something just occurred to me. Hillpole. I believe it wasn't just what Hillpole pointed out that was the issue, actually. The issue is slightly not larger, but basically the way computers operate, right? Whenever a system is not active, for example a browser window, it tends to sort of put that what's the word, put that process to sleep, right, just to optimize computing resources. So what's been happening on my end is I've got Figma on a different desktop. So when I scroll over to view and interact with Figma on that different desktop, the browser then basically goes to sleep. And given that this is streaming via the browser, I believe we've been having basically just like not an optimal thing, regarding the quality of the stream, because it's sort of been going to sleep every time I have been away from the screen, or the desktop, so to speak. You know how you can have like multiple desktops. Yeah. So my bad. I have now learned. Yeah, that's possibly what it was. You see, just then. So, yeah. So, like, problems like these would actually be, really addressed once I've, figured out how to actually get, like, connections to IPs directly from, whoever would be coming on, kind of thing. But for the moment, I suppose I can either try to figure out how to get the browser not to go to sleep, or, how to, not basically have it kill the process or hibernate the process, or I could just basically have a whole bunch of um, windows open in one desktop, which is a bit uncomfortable, but meh. Exactly. Yeah. Precisely. Yeah. So I feel like I interrupted what you were saying. Mm. 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 No, I mean it's quite a valuable thought. Yeah, absolutely, because the connective tissue is quite important. Exactly. A prize. Yeah. You were doing so well. Yeah, no, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like now myself, I'm thinking about what mine is from what you just said. Let's see. Yeah, up to 10. Yeah, so there's a lot. Yeah, yeah, 100%. Yeah, yeah. So I suppose, in the spirit of what James just said, as we are, coming close, with 2 minutes, I suppose if we take sort of like a minute each to discuss. I suppose James has already shared. Is your leaving thought the abstraction? Is that what you're gonna go and chew on, kind of thing, or have you got another one? So yeah, yeah, yeah. That's really good. Yeah, did Tevo disconnect or what happened? Yeah, wait, what happened? Was Come on. Yeah. What the hell? Yeah, he just completely um got whatever out. So I'm assuming he'll join back in. Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate. Yeah, I wonder what the hell happened there. Um, well, I suppose from my end, I'm just gonna try and figure out the technical implementations. I have. Yeah, why join? Join. For context, we're laughing at Tempo having said, I have words. That's all he said. The host can add you at any time. Yeah, yo, Tempo, what? Yeah, join in. Um, yeah. Oh, no, I think he hasn't got the link. Okay, already joined. Wait, he's saying he's already joined. I suppose that's why he's able to message us, but he's not coming up on the side here where he should be coming up. Oh man. Okay. I can see you. The host may add you to the broadcast anytime. Be ready. Okay. But then I cannot see him at all. Let me try and scroll up. Maybe the browser somehow hide. Nope. He is nowhere at all to be seen. Um, wait. Wait, just try leaving and coming back. And in addition, I will go into Discord. I should have shut down Discord actually. It tends to be quite a hog of can you see him now? Yeah, it tends to be quite a resource hog. Okay, I'll copy the link. No, cancel. No, yeah. See, there you go. It worked. There you are. There you are. Ta-da! Okay, yeah. So yeah, I think you are using possibly an old link because I created a new one for this specific stream. Yeah. So my closing thoughts. My closing. No, I didn't. Yeah, my closing thought is, yeah, I'm gonna go away and actually rewatch this and just figure out how for tomorrow I can improve the process of all of this, because even as it is, like, I feel like there's a bunch of lag, so I need to optimize, a whole bunch of systems on my end, close a bunch of programs. I already have a new machine coming which is a lot faster, so that in the long term we'll actually be able to to improve all of this, and at some point have like an intro and outro kind of thing. But I've already I have some of those. Actually, I'll just quickly share them because I'm actually quite proud of them. Yeah, if they'll actually work, because these things sometimes they have a mind of their own. And okay, no, tell you what, it's because I had the layers on top. There we go. So yeah, if you go onto YouTube or something, yeah, I suppose you can be able. Oh, I changed the size of the browser, and now more of the interface of the browser can be seen than I hoped. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so there's that one, and then there's this one. Yeah, so basically, I've done a whole bunch of animations which can actually be able to be layered on top. I'm quite jazzed with them, but yeah. So I might do some for tomorrow. Maybe not. That's not really a priority. Just my priority is optimizing, rewatching this and optimizing, so that we can have a much better, more fluent stream tomorrow. How about you, Tevo? Yeah. Okay. So James Zuckerberg, your closing thought. Yeah, awesome, man. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Like, yeah, the fact, the pre-meeting, we came in and we just did it on the fly. Yeah, there's definitely value with that. I feel like in addition to even optimize that, the more structure I'll sort of be able to sort of think of and sort of layer into the whole thing, the better. But anyway, fellas, thank you very much for joining me, in trying to test this. Folks, right now, if you're watching live, thank you. For those who have watched live, those who will be watching the replay, thank you, from the past moving into the future. Just keep your eye out for what we're doing here on Cast, like, subscribe or whatever, and we're gradually sort of building something that I think can actually make a difference. So yeah, thanks for your time, and I'll see you around.